tell me what you think about this, because when we talk about skills-based, I've seen a lot of skills-based classes that seem to kind of have been grammarized as well. When I say grammarized, I don't mean that they're teaching grammar. I mean that skills have been chopped up and categorized into grammar-like explanations. And in order to create a skills-based class, it's kind of bringing back all the things that made the grammar class so undesirable in the first place.
So
Like,
it's
for
like
example,
kind of a fake skills based?
well,
Is that what you're saying?
no, but in order to make it like a class that has a structure to it, and you have, like, say, a textbook, for example, and the textbook wants to concentrate on an introductory paragraph and a body paragraph and a conclusion and making T-charts about how to make notes and things of that nature, and kind of like books that we've seen that we're familiar with, right? To me, all of that seems like grammarization.
Because of the logic and the order it follows, because of the structure. Is that why you say it's grammarized?
Yeah. And again, I'm not a person who's opposed to grammar. Okay, but I realized that when we did grammar classes in the past, the thing that made them so undesirable was the concentration on this way, this way, this way, this way. That's what made it so undesirable. This whole kind of policy or religious kind of thing of like, this has to be done this way and this way and this way.
When in reality, Shane, when we go to real life context, when we really go out where native speakers use a language, sometimes native speakers don't follow that super stiffy order that we teach them in the classrooms, or that they are.
Right. That's right. You've heard that expression, throw the baby out with the bathwater?
No.
Well, it's an idiom, it's a modismo. But when you're bathing a baby, you know, the bathwater gets dirty and becomes undesirable, and you throw out the bathwater. But when you throw the baby out with the bathwater, it kind of defeats the purpose of what you were trying to do. With the grammar approach to classrooms, we wanted to, grammar was no longer desirable. And you can understand because if grammar is like, no, you have to do it this way and this way and this way.
It's like mathematics.
Yeah. And again, it's like puzzle pieces being thrown at you. It's not you sitting down, getting the puzzle out and figuring it out. No, you go somewhere and people throw puzzle pieces at you. It's not nice. I get that. But the way that we've gone from grammar to skills-based has been kind of like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And in many ways, we just simply brought back the bathwater and let the baby out.
I'm trying to bring it down to a form to explain that in Spanish.
Yeah, I don't know what the Spanish way would be.
Yeah, I don't think there's such thing as a phrase for that, but I get your point.
Yeah. I mean, skills-based is fine in a classroom, you know, but if you get into the grammarization of it again, that thing that made grammar so ugly to begin with, if you're bringing that back with the skills-based, then it just poisons everything.
It's like when you say, like in Star Wars, no, you become what you swear to destroy, or something like that. So at the end, the skills base, it kind of turns into a grammar thing, when there were like two different things, two opposites. So at the end, they ended up merging because of the order and the structure that has been put into the skills. I think that's what you're saying, Shane.
Yeah, you'll have students, and you give them an assignment, and that says, well, we're not going to worry about grammar, but you know, you have to have your introductory paragraph and your thesis statement, and you have to have, you know, your two body paragraphs and your concluding statement, and we're still looking for those things based on, you know, should I give them points because they didn't include this, or they didn't
with a different name.
Yeah. And again, it's not to say that those things are not important. If you go back to the grammar, you cannot say that those grammar things are not important either. but the way that they end up having to be taught in a class, for them to be useful in a classroom setting, there has to be elements about them that are teachable. And how they get taught is different in a situation where you're not in a university setting and you have to have points and you have to be able to show that I did this, this, and this to pass the class. That's a lot what university is. It's not so much about how good are you or how gifted are you at this. University degree just shows that, hey, I took 6 semesters where I sat in front of teachers who told me to do this, 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 and this, which I was able to do. And so I graduated. So now, company, you know that I can do these things. I'm capable, right? That's what university is looking for out of people. If you take a class outside of university setting, you might find something completely different with fewer barriers on this or that, where people can explore and be freer to do things. But I would tell the learner that if you want to take a class, go for it. There are many things that you can learn, and you have ultimate freedom to learn exactly how you want to learn, not taking a class at all. And when you do pay people to help you with your learning, that you are in control of that and that they are answering questions that you bring to the table, rather than the opposite way where you just sit and try to grapple with things that they throw at you. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's something very complex to be landed in a few words and in a few concepts. There are many factors that exist that need to be considered that are suitable for a particular type of learner. As I've always told my students when they normally ask, well, who is the best teacher, or which is the best school, or what school is the one you recommend, I don't think there's such thing. I think it's the one that fits their needs, depending on their level of what we were talking before, depending on the level of necessity they have, or the type of necessity they have, and their level of motivation. The variables are thousands, and we would always, as learners, we need to find the ones that are mostly appropriate to what we think or what we need or what we feel. There's no such like a right way to do things, and that's one thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately, because there are thousands of certifications and courses that tell teachers how to do things the right way, but there's no such thing as a right way, Shane. I
Well,
really
and not
think
for a learner either.
Sorry?
And not for a learner either.
Yeah, that's why that's what I'm saying. The way that there's not a right way for a teacher to teach the class in the perfect way, because learners are all different and they all have their own ways. So there's no such thing in the world, in the universe, that it's the right way to do it or the only way to do it appropriately for the learners. It depends on your students, on what they need, on what they want, and flexibility has to be there all along for all of us and them.